All right. That is the sound of another Malarkey hour coming right at you. This is your host, Matt, and sitting across from me is Mr. John. How's it going, sir?
What's up?
All right, let's get this week started, John. All right, John. So this week, it's I think it's one of my favorite subjects to do, and that is Conspiracy Corner.
Just for the record, you didn't tell me what we were doing until 5 minutes before, so.
I still haven't told you what we're doing.
No, not really.
Yeah. So
it would kind of help if I knew something about it, but we'll see where it goes.
all right, John. Have you ever heard of a man named John Titor?
Is that the guy from The Big Lebowski?
It's the guy from the Big Lebowski. Yeah, I've heard of him. No. you're thinking of John Titor.
Yeah, I was kind of doing that on purpose.
Okay. See what you did there. No, this is John Titor. Titor. You ever heard of him?
No.
Well, John Titor is a time traveler, a time traveling soldier from the year 2036.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah, nice. 16 years in the future. Actually, he first appeared. His name first appeared in some bulletin boards around 2000, 2001.
I know who he is.
You know who he is?
Well, he's the guy in the picture, right?
No, I think it's somebody else.
Not the guy on the bridge?
The bridge guy? Is this the same guy?
I don't know. I Google imaged him, and that came up with some other
You know
stuff.
what? I think he might. Well, he might be grouped in with those guys. Is he the guy with the bridge?
I don't know if have they ever identified the guy on the bridge? I didn't know. I didn't think they had. Maybe it's just part of whatever.
Yeah.
Google image.
So John Titor, he made some predictions, some vague predictions about events in 2004 and beyond. So this was back in 2000, 2001. So some of his predictions included a nuclear war, but none of them came true.
So yeah, that's where that's where I get all my gambling tips.
So
he's the one that told me to play the under in the Kansas City game.
Did you really?
They only scored 80-something points.
So there was a 2009 investigation on this John Titor, and some people think it was likely the creation of a man named Larry Haber, a Florida entertainment lawyer, along with his brother, who was a computer scientist.
Mm-hmm.
So more like this guy wasn't really a time traveler, but that's beside the point. I just thought, let's talk about this because I think it's fun. I think it's fun when you talk about time travel and people who purport to be time travelers.
Right.
What do you think about time travel, John?
Um,
Let's get your take on time travel.
I like all the Back to the Future movies.
Mm-hmm. that's where you got all your time travel.
Yeah, that's where I get most of my time travel info from.
Mm-hmm.
What else? I don't know. It is. Well, we know it's possible. Not the past, but we've kind of proven, right?
To the future, yeah.
Yeah. I would have brushed up on this a little bit if I knew anything.
Yeah.
If I knew anything about it in advance, but before I sound like a psycho, we know that we can go into the future because we send what do we send? Like little small particles or something.
We've actually sent particles into the future, and the way
collider machine that they built.
Yeah, was it Hydrogen?
Something.
Yeah, in Switzerland.
Yeah, it's in Switzerland.
Well,
it costs like $1 bajillion.
Yeah, I'm not a physicist, but I think if I remember correctly,
I know.
if I remember correctly, the way they were able to know that they actually sent into the future was that there's certain particles.
They have a lifespan, right?
Yeah, really short lifespan, and they were able to extend this particle's lifespan, and the only way to really do that is essentially you send it to the future. So
yeah, the Large Hadron Collider.
There you go, Switzerland, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Believe it is in Switzerland. Yeah, it is. And I only know that from one. What was that special that Ethan Hawking one?
Ethan Hawke?
Ethan Not Ethan Hawking. Stephen Hawking, who is no longer with us.
Died.
Yeah.
He'll be back though.
Oh shit! I finally caught some of that last Bill Burr special.
No, that's Bill Burr. Oh, okay.
Where he's talking about Stephen Hawking. He's like, I'm glad he's dead. He's just like, in the year 20 something, there will be no more apples. And he's just like, it's just like a bummer.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, what do we do about it? It's too late. He's like, what the fuck? Anyway.
Like there's nothing you could do.
He's just like nothing but bad news.
He was a lot of bad news. He was a bad news bear guy, right? He's like just like, we're fucked.
I just remember he's like, but he just playing out. What did he say? That there is no afterlife. We're like computers. So as soon as we're dead,
we're dead. Yeah,
done.
Remember that party he had for time travelers and nobody showed up?
Oh, in the special.
Yeah.
It's like, what? It was an experiment, right?
Yeah. He literally had a party and nobody showed up. So he
tried to send a message into
the future. Yeah.
To the past, the future, right?
Into the future.
Yeah.
And nobody came.
Right. It was a sad party.
But what if it just they didn't want to meet him? Like, this guy's a bummer. We don't want to party with this guy.
Yeah.
He's gonna sit there and tell us apples are gone. Yeah.
It's funny. I started to Google. It's a time travel invitation. But it's like a 3-part special, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, going back to the weirdo, was it John Titor?
So John Titor, the first post. So it's like he actually had like this military symbol that he uses. It's like this weird circle with like it's cut in half and then like lines go up to it. If you Google it, you'll see it.
He did all this just to like get laid. There's time travel groupies out there.
I guess, but I mean nobody knew who he was. I think he was sort of anonymous. But the first post using this military symbol, this insignia, appeared on the Time Travel Institute forums on November 2nd, 2000, under the name Time Travel _0. So at that time,
I like how it was taken, so he had to put the underscore. I hate when that happens.
So these posts discuss time travel in general, right? So the first one being the 6 parts description of what a time machine would need to have to work. Okay.
So by the end of this podcast, everyone's gonna be able to build their own time machine.
So you want to know what the 6 parts what 6 parts are required for a time machine to be built, John? Are you ready?
Stuff you can get it. AutoZone, or is it more like Radio Shack?
Maybe. Yeah.
To go back in time just to go
to get the Radio Shack. Right?
Yeah, just to get stuff from Radio Shack.
So the way John described it, he said he described it as a stationary mass temporal displacement unit powered by 2 topspin dual positive singularities.
I mean, that's what I was going to say.
Producing a standard offset Tipler sinusoid.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So it contains the following, John. Number 1, this is the first part. 2 magnetic housing units for the dual micro singularities.
If you get it all right now, Amazon will have it here.
In like 2 days?
Yeah.
If you have Prime?
Yeah.
You also need an electron injection manifold to alter mass and gravity of the micro singularities.
Fuck, dude. That one says 3 days.
That was 3 days. You need a cooling and X-ray venting system.
Okay.
You need gravity sensors or a variable gravity lock.
How mmany things was this?
6 things.
Sounds like a lot more.
4 main cesium clocks. Do you know what a cesium clock is?
No.
So, essentially, a cesium is what it says. Cesium standard is a primary frequency standard in which the photon absorption by transitions between the 2 hyperfine ground states of cesium-133 atoms are used to control the output frequency. The first cesium clock was built by Louis Essen in 1955 at the National Physical Laboratory in the UK.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I was going to say.
So these atomic clocks are the most accurate time and frequency standards and serve as the primary standard for the definition of the second in the international system of units. So
Is that what we do with like GPS?
I don't know. I don't know how GPS is.
Because that's another reason that I remember from one of those time travel things
Uh-huh.
was they said if we know that time moves, what is it, slower or whatever?
Mm-hmm.
Is that right?
Oh yeah,
Like
because
outer space.
yeah, because
So they have to calibrate.
they have to calibrate it. Yeah.
Or else they said like everyone's GPS would be off by like miles every day.
Yeah, because
So those clocks have to be calibrated to run slower, I think.
yeah, because faster.
Faster. Okay, maybe you're right.
Because
If it's
the further
because-
away you are, the faster you're traveling.
Okay, so
It'll be
time's running slower. You got to speed them up.
Yes, yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Okay.
Like in terms of from their perspective, they're going a lot. From their perspective, we're going a lot faster than they are,
Right.
but their time is a lot slower.
Because they even use that simple example of I don't know how any of this shit works, but time moves slower near large mass, right?
Yeah. Gravity, for some reason, gravity has a lot to do with time. Like gravity
Yeah,
fucks with
they're
time a lot.
time is actually going by slower if you're like chilling by the pyramids.
Yeah.
Remember
Yeah.
they show that too.
Yeah. But very little. So you're not gonna save a lot of time. But yeah.
Right. So not like what is it? Back to the Future? It was like a minute, right, with the dog,
Yeah.
or he sent the dog back like a minute.
His name was Einstein, John.
Yeah, you're right. It was Einstein.
Yeah. Einstein was a minute younger. But or like if you heard that train it's like it's not an experiment, but it's a what do they call it?
Build a train to circle the
Earth. Yeah. What do they call those? There's a word for it. It's not an experiment. It's a
hypothesis.
I think it's a thought experiment. I forget what the term is. Where you're essentially you're thinking of a possible scenario. Obviously, they're not going to build this train. But if they were to build a train that can travel at near the speed of light,
yeah, because we can never actually reach it. We just come close, right?
come close to it. Yeah. So if the passengers on this hypothetical train,
Like we're doing a podcast on something we know nothing about.
I know enough to like.
Could have prepared me a little bit. I would have had more shit to say that was probably still wrong, but at least it became.
At least you prepared for it.
Yeah. Really.
John, we all know you probably was just prepared like 2 minutes before the podcast.
I'm gonna rewatch the Hawking one.
You're gonna rewatch it?
I actually thought about rewatching it a few months ago because
Okay.
I don't know if it's still on Netflix or not.
Yeah. But yeah, that train one where the people on this train that's going near the approaching the speed of light, they would experience time at a much slower rate than the people on Earth. So I think like after 15 minutes, they would have traveled 100 years in the future or something like that.
Okay, and that's what but it's like years of writing, right? Or is it not?
No, it's like 15 minutes of writing.
Are you sure?
I think, yeah.
We know nothing about what we're talking about. I thought the trip was like super long. Or maybe I thought it was like months at least. I didn't think it was.
Was it months?
I'm just going by what I remember from I think calls it the train ride to the future.
Yeah.
I don't know how long it would take. But then but you wouldn't have aged, right?
You would have aged a lot less than the people here on Earth.
Just do it to be a dick. You look like shit.
Oh, we sort of see that they've done an experiment on jets. So they'll put one clock on a jet and one clock here, and the clock on the jet and it's behind by like milliseconds, something like that. Yeah.
I'm just laughing because we have no real facts on this.
So going back to this time machine, John, that John Titor built. So the last thing that it needs is 3 main computer units. The most important part. So according to the Post, John, this time machine was installed in the rear of a 1967 Chevrolet Corvette convertible.
You know what I found here, but I don't know. This is a blog real quick.
Mm-hmm.
Just one week on the train would be 100 years.
Okay, that's what it was. Okay.
I think.
I don't know why I thought 15 minutes. I don't know where I heard 15. I must have heard 15 minutes somewhere.
Says if the train continues to make rounds for the 100 years. Then after 100 years, it will be affected in such a way that he could not recognize the world or stations where it began. Blah, blah, blah. The train, because it has only been 1 week for the people inside the train.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So that was his hypothetical way to do it without I think that's his hypothetical way to do it without the crazy interstellar type of way.
Yeah. Like, you know, other than finding a black hole to chill by. Yeah, this is the closest you can get to.
Because I think that's considered just a large mass that we would have to like
go by. Yeah, and we don't know. Like, we don't see any. We don't have any nearby.
That's what they do in Interstellar, right?
Yeah,
the black hole.
Yeah, that planet's near a black hole, and time on that planet's a lot slower than time anywhere else, or at least time here.
It's like when they leave that guy, and he's kind of a dick move, right? Been like decades. Yeah. They've only been gone for like 20 minutes or some shit.
Yeah. That is crazy, right? To think like you're on this planet and if you stay on it too long, you're going to be, everybody you know is going to be long gone.
Right.
Yeah. You'll be fucked.
Yeah. Maybe Elon Musk will save us. See a video of him dancing the other day? At one of his Tesla like conventions.
What was it?
He cannot dance. It's funny though to watch him. Like you could probably tell, like he was probably had been practicing too, and it was still bad.
He doesn't have to be human. No. So that's how you built this time machine that John Titor allegedly used.
If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below.
So John, early messages tend to be short from John Titor, and then a second thread was also made due to shortcomings in the forum software at the time. So the name John Titor was not introduced until January 2001, when Time Travel _0 began posting at the Art Bell BBS forums, which required a name or pseudonym for every account. The Titor post ended in late March 2001. So this guy came and went, much like his time travel. All right.
This started when?
2000.
So he only did it for like a year?
Yeah, less than a year. Actually, less than that. Actually, maybe 6 months, if that.
And then he just time traveled out here?
He time traveled back to where he came from, John. So maybe we'll see him in like about 14, 15 years. But so let's go back and see some of his predictions that he said were to occur.
Can't be worse than that lady that used to go on Oprah.
Who was that?
My mom used to like her. No, not Cleo. That lady's doing hard time somewhere.
Cleo?
I don't know. Did she go to jail?
I don't know. I just remember her commercials late at night.
Call me now for your free reading.
Yeah. It was sandwiched between like those sex phone call like commercials.
Yeah, if you're old enough to remember those, it's like, was it pick up the phone? Yeah. And the other girl would go, we're all alone.
Did you ever call those?
No. A friend of mine did, though.
Okay. I think you told me the story. I think I know the friend.
Yeah. Got in trouble. Raked up a very large phone bill.
That's what I said. They're expensive, like $3 a minute or something like that.
I wonder if something funny and so immature. I used to know there's a couple people thought it would be funny to do it to call the numbers from the payphone back in middle school. Uh-huh. And they would call it and there'd just be like a group of like, prepubescent fucking,
Yeah.
But how old are you in middle school? 12?
Yeah, 12 to like 14. Yeah.
Just like, hey, they're talking dirty, listen, just passing the phone around. Uh-huh. And just like, I remember that eventually it turned into a thing and like people were going to the principal's office.
For these calls.
Yeah, because they were just free from the payphone for some reason.
Oh, that's weird.
Yeah.
Oh, that's not good.
No, the school was having to pay for all this sex hotlines.
They should have better controls there. Yeah, that's crazy. I never called it either. Are they still around?
Yeah, because I'm up late. They do something we are 18 or something. But they don't have the same catchy music.
Okay. Yeah.
Can't beat that old one.
No, you can't beat it.
Pick
it's classic.
Up the phone.
It's classic. Yeah.
We're all alone. It's like the phone and a lone rhyme, I guess.
Something tells me that the lady on the other side of that phone call, it doesn't look like those ladies on the commercials. It's just a guess.
And I think I told you before, right? A girl that I used to know, or whatever, or a friend that I had after high school.
Mm-hmm.
His mom was a phone sex operator.
Oh, it's always, yeah.
Yeah, it'd be weird because we all knew, and she's like, okay, I got to go to work, and she'd just like she'd like just
Go
go to her
upstairs.
room.
Yeah. And let me guess, she didn't look like one of those ladies on the commercials.
No, not at all. That was awkward when I would get her on the phone. I was like,
Is this Kerbopple?
I've been calling her Crandall.
Right.
Simpsons reference.
Yeah. I don't know how we got to this point, but yeah. So the lady on Oprah wasn't Cleo.
No, I'm thinking of Sylvia Brown.
Oh, Sylvia Brown. Okay.
Did she die?
I don't remember. I don't know where she's up to these days.
Yeah, but it should be. I don't know. It was all specific. She's like, check under your bed in a box.
So
oh, it wasn't Oprah. There was Montel.
Okay, Montel. I remember Montel.
Yeah. She died in 2013.
Okay. Is Montel still alive?
I think Montel. Yeah, dude. And
I know he was sick for a while.
well, he has MS.
That's what it is. Yes, MS.
Yeah.
Okay.
But he's I don't know. He looks healthier than us.
Yeah. Montel's full of shit. He doesn't have MS. No, I'm just
Yeah.
kidding. He probably does.
Yeah.
No.
Because he had some dark stories where like tried to kill himself. And
Oh, was that bad?
yeah, but I mean, then he's just like, oh, I'm okay. No, I don't know. Probably not.
Nah, probably not.
No, he's 63.
Okay. Still going strong.
I keep thinking I see him in infomercials too, but not for the sex stuff. For like, I don't know, mortgage stuff. Maybe?
Oh yeah, I remember.
Or
Yeah,
like
yeah.
credit or
The
mortgage
credit stuff. Yeah.
Pick up the phone.
Most unsexy commercial. No, so the tour had a few predictions, John. So he the thing is, essentially he's from the future, right? And he's coming back to the past, and he's telling us what's gonna happen, but by him telling us I mean, I don't know how time travel works, but I think the very basic thing I understand is you go to the past, you're gonna affect that future you think is gonna happen, right?
Talking about like butterfly effect.
Butterfly effect, or even like branching off to different
See, well, that's where I always get confused is the alternate
futures. Yeah.
Yeah, the one that Doc Brown
branches
breaks
off.
down.
Yeah, it branches off too.
And he breaks it down very simply in the movie.
Yeah.
And it is pretty much accurate, right? The way he breaks it down.
Yeah.
I mean, in the dumbest type of way.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's like creating an alternate 1955?
Yeah. You're branching off to a different world now.
Because that's why there's two of him.
Yeah.
There's the him that went back, and then there's
the him from the previous, and then him from the new timeline now.
Right. But even when you come back, that other one still exists, right? You're just not there anymore.
Exactly.
So there's still the other you out there.
Yeah, but you're in the past.
Right. Well, the other you, when you come, this is now going into breaking the rules because he's able to go and come back, assuming that.
But he's coming back to a different future.
Yeah, but I don't.
That's the reason he's able to come back, and there's not another Doc Brown. Because the other Doc Brown went to the past.
Right. Okay. Well, then they broke the rules to begin with.
Well, not really, because think about it. Okay, so you have your original when the movie starts. That's the original branch.
85.
Right. That's the original branch. So Marty goes back into time. So at that moment in time, he goes back in time. Marty no longer exists in 1985. So when he comes back, that Marty already left. So when he comes back a few minutes early, and you see that other Marty leave, the other Marty already left 1985. He's about to leave, and he leaves, and that's when he tries to save Doc.
Okay, yeah.
But the other Marty already left to the past, so he will no longer be there in that timeline.
So we have a Marty.
So we have a Marty that went to the past.
Okay. Which is fine, and it's a great movie, but if you want to keep accepting Hawking and these guys, you wouldn't have been able to do that to begin with.
Yeah. You ever hear about the theory that there's multiple Martys, and that Doc Brown keeps going back to the past to save Marty. 'Cause he keeps dying.
No.
Because there's that one scene in like, how did he time that? Remember, I think it was part 2 where he jumps off the building. No, but part 1 when he saves them from like falling.
It is very odd that he was able to.
He was there.
Yeah, I just accept it as. Yeah.
Well, there's a theory that he died, and so Doc had to go back, and he knew when he died, so he went back and saved them in that point in time. But it took him multiple attempts too.
I have a feeling there's so many flaws with that movie that probably drive like Hawking guys insane.
Nah, I think it's airtight. Well, that's what's fun about it, though. Like, it's still
the one with the bringing the guy that, because it's still okay, even though they went back to 1955 in part. Let's just say even part 1, right? I'm just saying
they always go back to 1955, except for part 3. They don't go back.
Right. For some reason, he wants to live in the fucking Wild West.
That was the flaw about part 3. Yeah. It wasn't that much fun.
That's what you want. Yeah, I know. It is the weakest, but whatever.
And they're stuck in that year. Like, it was so unfun.
But they sent Marty back.
Yeah, it was really unfun. Yeah.
It's like, why would you pick this place?
Yeah.
Out of all.
Yeah.
But why did he pick the Wild West? That's just the thing he was fascinated with.
The character Doc Brown.
Yeah.
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 He always wanted to live in the Old West.
That's such a shitty.
And I think Robert Zemeckis always wanted to make a Western, so he used that as an opportunity.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was going back to, and it's not even a joke, but I think I've joked about it with you. And I've heard other people mention it. If you're going back and, you know how Biff tries to whatever rape his mom, and then he pulls him off and he knocks him out, and then later he comes back. And he's working for him. I'm like, why do you want this rapey guy working for you? That's weird. Yeah. It is weird.
It's funny because it's almost like in the movie they punch him and like they did you punch the rapey like intentions out of him? It's weird, right? Like all of a sudden he's like a different guy now.
It's like okay, that changed him, and it's still the same Biff though.
Still the same Biff.
Yeah, you can't do this alternate like 2 Biff thing. It's the same Biff.
Yeah, same Biff. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like, man, why would you want this guy that tried to rape your wife being like, hey, hire him around the house? I mean, it's weird.
It's very weird, yeah.
Yeah. I was like, and then why would you buy the same house?
You would, yeah. He's more successful, right?
Yeah.
He bought the same house.
Yeah, because I noticed that too. I'm like, why do you buy the same house?
Yeah.
I started thinking of other things after I saw that one.
Yeah, that doesn't make sense.
Other people on the internet were talking about the first thing.
Yeah.
And I thought about that too. I was like, but he bought the same house, but he's all successful. That's weird.
Yeah. Like, he has nicer vehicles, but the same shitty house.
Yeah. It's not shitty. It's just like
it's not as nice.
Yeah, it's like
it was nice in 1955 when they were first building it, but not 30 years later.
Right.
Like
yeah, because it wasn't there, right? Or was it?
No, they were just building it. Yeah.
You're right. Yeah.
Because remember when he went to it, like they had those big signs like coming soon, like something estates.
Yeah. It was the whole neighborhood hadn't been built.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was our Back to the Future podcast.
So some predictions that Titor made, John. Going back to the branching, he talked about that. He said that there's assurances he gave that the differences were going to be minimal. So him telling us what was going to happen, it wasn't going to change that much from what his future looked like.
Okay.
So the most immediate of his predictions, he foretold of an upcoming civil war in the United States, having to do with order and rights. He described it as beginning in 2004 with civil unrest surrounding the presidential election of that year. This civil conflict that he characterized as having a Waco-type event every month that steadily gets worse would be pretty much at everyone's footsteps and erupt by 2008.
I don't think he was accurate there.
No. So apparently, according to him, as a result of the war, the United States would split into 5 regions based on various factors and differing military objectives. This civil war, according to Titor, would end in 2015 with a brief but intense World War III. So he refers to the exchange as End Day.
He's a real half glass empty type of guy.
Right? So Washington, D.C. and Jacksonville, Florida are specifically mentioned as being hit. So after the war, Omaha, Nebraska would be the new U.S. capital. Titor was vague as to the exact motivations and causes for World War III. At one point, he characterized the hostilities as being led by border clashes and overpopulation. He also pointed to the contemporary conflict between Arabs and Israel as not a cause, but rather a milestone that precedes a hypothetical World War III. He claimed that as a 13-year-old in 2011, he joined the Fighting Diamondbacks, a shotgun infantry unit in Florida, for at least 4 years. And other posts he described...
They moved the Diamondbacks to Florida?
No. Another post he described himself as hiding from the war. So he claimed that the Everett Wheeler model of quantum physics, better known as the many worlds interpretation, was correct. According to Titor, this caused a new time stream to form because of his time travel. So this gives his predictions the ability to stand up to scrutiny when they fail to pass, since believers can say that the events were averted by Titor's postings.
That's convenient. That's what I try to tell my bookie. I meant to bet the over.
So that was the biggest one. So what do you think, John? Do you think some of his stuff, by him mentioning it, it just, like, it still happened, but it's not the way he said it happened, and maybe it happened in a different way?
No.
You don't think so?
I got to read more about this guy, but he sounds like a scammer.
Well, he wasn't looking for anything.
Attention.
It's just attention.
Attention.
Well, he wants
trying to get a lucrative endorsement deal.
So for some people who were trying to interpret some of his predictions, his Civil War, right? Some people looked at it as maybe it got essentially him talking about it got converted into the Iraq War. So, obviously he came in November 2000. This was before 9/11. So his postings ended March to 2001. So this is way before 9/11. And the United States didn't invade Iraq until 2003. So,
right. Sure.
So
let's go back to shapeshifters.
Shapeshifters. We were talking about shapeshifters before we started.
Yeah, I was telling the guy at the store, the little convenience store, whatever you want to call it. He's on his laptop all the time, and well, I told you. I was like, "What are you doing there?" He's like, "I'm just looking up videos of shapeshifters, man." Those are people that can morph into different things.
Yeah, it's always funny to me. Yeah, people who believe in shapeshifters, mm-hmm. But it's a real fear. People who believe in them. Yeah. Okay, so going back to Titor, John. So going back to his claims, going back to who he was. So he claimed to be an American soldier from 2036. He was based in Tampa, Florida. So he was assigned to a governmental time travel project and sent back to 1975 to retrieve a IBM 5100 computer. Do you remember how those look like?
Oh, curious, but no.
Okay, so he said this particular computer was needed to debug various legacy computer programs in 2036. So this is a possible reference to the. Have you ever heard of the?
Oh, I know what they look like now. Sorry.
So he said that they needed this to debug some legacy computer programs. So many people believe that this is a possible reference to the Unix year 2038 problem. Have you ever heard of that year 2038 problem with Unix?
I don't remember the year. It sounds like something I've heard of.
So it's essentially it's like the the Y2K problem.
Yeah.
So it essentially the year 2038 problem is caused by insufficient capacity of the chosen storage unit. So in a Unix system, the way it keeps time and dates, there's just not enough storage there.
I used to have a dual boot
Uh-huh.
Unix on my computer, Red Hat. Just
John
had to throw that out there.
John is a nerdy computer.
But so it's basically okay. So what's the catastrophe with this?
So he just said they needed to debug some legacy computer programs in 2036. So that's the reason they first sent him back to 1975 because they didn't have any more IBM 5100 computers. in
This
the
is an
future.
old used one. I don't even know if it powers on. $2,500.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so he said he was selected for this mission specifically, given that his paternal grandfather was directly involved with the assembly and programming of the 5100. In support of this, he described unpublicized features of the 5100, leading to assumptions that a computer scientist was behind the postings. So Titor claimed to be on a stopover in the year 2000 for quote-unquote personal reasons.
Wait, say that again?
So he
That
said.
last part?
So the reason he said he stopped in the year 2000, it was just a stopover for him.
Mm-hmm.
He stopped in the year 2000 for quote unquote personal reasons, to
Mm-hmm.
collect pictures lost in the future.
He couldn't predict the scrutiny.
He said it was to collect pictures that were lost during that Civil War, John, and to visit his family, of whom he spoke often.
Okay.
Titor also said he had been for a few months trying to alert anyone that would listen about the threat of Creutzfeldt-Jakob disease spread through beef products and about the possibility of civil war with the United States. When questioned about them by an online subscriber, Titor also expressed an interest in mysteries such as UFOs, which remain unexplained in his time. Titor suggested that UFOs and extraterrestrials might be travelers from much further into the future than his own time, with superior time machines.
All right. I don't know. I couldn't tell you the difference between a superior time machine and an old-fashioned one. But
If you were to build a time machine, John, what would you build it out of? We've had a DeLorean. We've had
probably
the most famous time travel machine, right? The DeLorean.
like an old Corolla.
Old Corolla,
Yeah.
1996 Corolla.
Yeah. Thinking like a... So, actually, I'm trying to think of something that would be so stupid. I'll get back to you.
So
It's funny, the DeLorean, right? They're worth a lot of money just because there's so few of them, right?
yeah.
And it's all because the guy had to cut a cocaine deal to fund the car, right? To fund the company.
Yeah.
John DeLorean.
Yeah, he had a lot of drug problems.
Well, the crazy thing is, I think I read that, I could be wrong, that the funding that he was trying to get was actually going to come in, and he didn't think it would. So he had that fucking sting operation with the video.
Yeah.
That gets weird, though.
It does,
Because then Larry Flynn had a hold of it.
At one point, yeah.
Larry Flynn gave it to NBC News or some shit.
Yeah.
Or yeah.
It's
a weird thing.
It's a weird story, the downfall of the DeLorean.
Yeah.
And John DeLorean.
Yeah. Because I don't know how Larry Flynn didn't, and that got him in front of the court and everything, right?
Hmm?
Mm-hmm.
Larry Flynn's been involved in a lot of big cases.
Yeah. I think you've done more for free speech than some other people.
Oh yeah, definitely.
A little underrated.
Yeah, was it Larry Flynn versus Jerry Falwell? One of the biggest First Amendment Supreme Court cases ever.
Yeah. He won.
Yeah, he won.
Yeah. That it's probably Woody Harrelson's probably good breakout role for a drama, right?
I mean, he had some previous to that, but yeah, it was one of his bigger.
Yeah, people versus Larry Flint.
People versus But time travel, John. If you were a time traveler from the future, would you do what John Titor did? Try to warn people.
I think so. If I knew it was gonna do more, if I thought it was gonna do more good than harm. Because people always say like I would go back in time and kill Hitler. I'm like I don't know.
Yeah, it's like, would you even have the ability to do that though? Just because you could travel back in time doesn't mean you can go and just kill Hitler. You still gotta go through a front line of German forces.
And look, it's like a movie like Terminator.
Uh-huh.
Why don't they just go and kill, like, as sinister as it sounds, why don't they just go and kill, like, the baby Hitler or something, or like why does it have to be like in that particular year with like like Sarah Connor because she's gonna have because I mean they want to kill in the first one they want to kill her.
You want to kill her, yeah.
Right, because she's gonna have John Connor.
And John Connor is the leader of the resistance that takes down that essentially is taking down their.
Right. Yeah. But I'm just saying, like, why don't you kill like baby her?
Baby her. I think it had to do. I think it had to do with records in the war. A lot of them were burnt. Like there was no records of.
Is that how they justify?
Yeah, I think that's how they justified it. So they only knew up to a certain point. Hey, at age what was she 24 in part 1, 25. At that age, we know where she was. So we can go back to that and we can find her. I think before then they didn't know where she was because the records of where she was were burned during the war.
Right.
Or destroyed or whatever. So.
And James Cameron's pretty good about trying to at least sell you on why.
Yeah, I mean the first two made sense. I think it's the sequels that sort of got a little bit more ridiculous because the further along you get in these time travel scenarios, the harder it is to keep it all together.
And there's one they just said like nothing really happened after that.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
like, wait, what?
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm just saying like it is like that whole butterfly effect thing. It's like
you're gonna affect everything, and just by you going back in time, you're gonna, who knows what the ramifications are in the future. What alternate future branch you're gonna get into. So essentially, the people who send them back in time might not exist anymore in this new branch, and they have no idea. That's what's crazy about it, right? Like, say you get stuck in, like, you're in the future and you send somebody back to alter the future. You send them back to the past. You have no idea how it's going to affect your future.
So we're here now. I send somebody back.
Yeah.
Let's say, like, I don't know, 9/11 or something.
Yeah.
Okay, so you stop 9/11.
Yeah.
But then you don't. Yeah. You don't know. Is that why you send somebody else back?
Okay. So this is maybe this scenario. Okay, say you send somebody back to the past to alter the past so that in the future you become rich. Do you ever feel? Are you ever aware of this, or it's just automatically you were always rich, and all of a sudden it's just like that? You were always rich.
Okay, so this is kind of what Marty McFly was trying to do with the Sports Almanac. Even though I have some flaws with that too.
There's some flaws to that.
Well, think about just the fact that he already fucked with stuff. Wouldn't that affect the outcome of these games?
How? It's just him bidding on it?
Okay, well, just think of like the whole butterfly effect thing, right? Okay, like if it could be anything. Like let's say you weren't born, I wasn't born.
But he went to the future.
Yeah, he went to the future and got it.
Yeah.
So it wouldn't. Yeah, you're right. So there's no.
Those events already happened.
Events.
Those events already happened.
Right. It's not the same thing as me saying like, would Tom Brady have won all these Super Bowls if I wasn't born?
Yeah.
Not saying. I'm just saying it sounds stupid, but just there's so many chain reaction type of things that.
But if like 2000 John was able to get into a time machine and go to now
because none of those events have affected where they got to. Yeah.
And you get the Sports Almanac from today, and you know every Super Bowl who's going to win or lose. And now you can bet. Imagine those halftime bets you can make. Imagine you could have made that Atlanta Falcons, New England Patriots Super Bowl. How much money you would have made at halftime?
25-point comeback.
We think that would have paid out.
I don't know. So, I guess you're saying would I use the time machine to go back and hurt Tom Brady?
Or at least make money off him.
Yeah. Right. Gonna hurt this little kid's arm a little bit. I don't know. I mean, no, I know what you're saying because I'm thinking about it wrong now with the Back to the Future thing.
Yeah.
I know what he was trying to do.
Yeah.
And I guess, assuming that that all that's possible, yeah, you're right. There's no events between him and that can affect the outcome, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So there's no possibility of like a butterfly effect.
Not really. I mean, you're you might alter the future. Like him betting on those games are not gonna. They're not gonna alter the outcomes of those games.
That's what I'm saying. Is
Yeah.
nothing could change the outcome of those games.
No.
'Cause I'm trying to think how that works. Because he's going back. Okay, he's going back to the future. Very confusing choice of words.
Yeah.
He buys the almanac. Biff ends up with the almanac. That's why Biff is rich.
Yes.
So he's got to go back to 1955, and that's when you see all the alternate personalities and stuff, right?
Yeah.
And the alternate timeline.
Yeah.
I like how this is our point of reference. This is how uneducated I am.
see Back to the Future as
Just studying Back to the Future, trying to understand time travel.
yeah.
I don't know. It is kind of, well, it could go back to like a simpler example, which is like that romantic one, About Time, that I think I mentioned last week that I like.
Yeah.
With Rachel McAdams is he gets to go, what does he have to go in a cupboard, right?
Yeah.
And then he can go back and change everything. But no matter what, something's fucked up when he gets back, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right, what was the question again? I highly recommend About Time. I think I asked you before I watched it, and you said it was good.
Yeah.
That same guy that's made all those other, like, British romantic comedies.
Is it the same guy? I can't remember.
Like About a Boy and stuff.
Is it the same guy?
Or it's based on the same author, like the books, maybe. I thought it was.
I can't remember what About Time was based on. The Richard Curtis he's a British director who's directed a lot of those movies, but I don't know if it's same book, like same author from the books. I don't know.
Yeah, like Fever Pitch and stuff.
Yeah.
But they changed it to baseball, right?
Yeah, they changed the baseball.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's directed by Richard Curtis.
Yeah.
About Time.
Yeah.
I like how these are our points of reference here. Told you, if you would have told me about this before.
You would have studied a lot about time travel.
I probably would have rewatched the Hawking one.
Okay.
Because I enjoyed watching it the first time.
Yeah. Oh, we can always come back to the subject another time. Time travel is a fun subject.
We're just making people dumber.
You start forgetting, like somebody who's actually educated in this area is going to listen to this podcast and start forgetting what they learned in college.
Totally go back in time just to get Rachel McAdams.
I don't know how you going back in time is going to help your
no, I'd probably, it'd be one of those things where I have to go back like 400 times. Shit just keeps getting worse. It is like that scene in Groundhog Day, though, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where he has to. He keeps going to the bar.
Yeah, he keeps picking her up.
And he keeps fucking it up by saying one
One
thing.
thing, yeah.
He's
That'd be fun, right? To go. I think I've told you.
After a while, it becomes a little creepy.
Yeah, I think I've told you this before. I've made this joke to you before. I think, like the way I would use time travel for. It's like you ever had like this witty comeback, but you thought about it after like your encounter with somebody. You're like, oh, if only I had said that then. Like that's how I use time travel, so I could go back and do these witty comebacks.
Just fucking.
Everybody's just thinking, like, Matt's a witty motherfucker. Just his comebacks are fucking well thought out. I don't know how
it takes you 6 months. Yeah. You're like, I didn't even write it myself. Oh man.
Okay, John. So before we leave for this week, since we're talking about time travel,
we've officially made everyone dumber by listening to this shit.
So let's just burn the tape and just pretend this never happened.
We're using an actual tape.
Yeah, we're still recording on tape. Yeah, I'm old fashioned, John.
So I tell people, come here, listen to us because we have the facts. Get the number on our YouTube page. Just send in your facts and we'll get back to you.
Exactly. But before we go, since we're already talking about it a little bit, but since we're talking about time travel, I thought it'd be fun to go back and look at some of the past movies that have dealt with time travel. Some of these movies you may or may not have seen, John. But let's go down this list. Donnie Darko. Did you ever see Donnie Darko?
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah. So
In fact, I rewatched it not too long ago.
that one deals with time travel.
Did you ever catch Predestination?
Parts of it. I haven't even watched all of it.
Weird.
Yeah.
Very weird. I think it's pretty cool, though.
So if you haven't seen it, Jake Gyllenhaal's character gets informed by his big, large rabbits named Frank that the world's going to end in, 28 days.
Yeah.
So deals with
Yeah.
time travel.
Creepy fucking rabbit.
Yeah, that's a creepy rabbit. You mentioned in maybe a few minutes ago, Groundhog Day sort of deals with time travel.
Great
It's
movie.
essentially he's stuck in a time loop. And
Yeah.
he's forced to relive the same day over and over and over. So, I think
Some people just call it life.
right. I think Harold Ramis, the director, said that he went through 10,000 years.
Yeah, it's an
This time-
interesting fact.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't that long. In fact, go ahead and go to the movie you're going to, but it is a lot of years. It's
Another movie that deals with time travel, Christopher Nolan's Interstellar, which we briefly talked about, deals with astronauts and wormholes and black holes and
you're right, 10,000 years.
10,000 years.
No
yeah.
way.
Yep.
I read it was something like 17 years.
No, 10,000 years. He essentially becomes a god, or at that point.
No, but you know what? There's another quote that says he's got it down to 27 years. So we're gonna have to look at that.
Oh, okay. Oh.
I think one's according to says a.
We'll talk about it during our Groundhog podcast.
It's funny. People think we're joking about the Groundhog Day podcast.
We're gonna do a Groundhog.
We decided it's such a great movie. We got to do it.
Yeah. So we'll discuss the specifics on that during that podcast. Terminator. We talked about that. Obviously, all the Terminator movies deal with time travel.
It's very rare when you have a sequel that's better than the original.
Deals with these machines going back in time to try to kill.
You do agree Terminator 2 is better, right?
Yeah, Terminator is way better.
Yeah.
About Time. Romantic comedy.
I really like it. It's funny to say, out of all of my Rachel McAdams time travel movies, it's my favorite.
It's such a funny concept that the fact that this guy finds out that all the men in his family can time travel.
Yeah, but only the men.
Only the men.
It's really a movie about sexism.
Yeah. Back to the Future, one of the, if not the greatest movie about time travel ever made. And most accurate, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, I don't know about accurate, but
Nobody can prove me wrong, John. Nobody can prove me wrong.
Apparently all it takes is 88 miles per hour in a DeLorean. And, well, they need what do they need from the Russians?
Plutonium.
Were they Russian? I don't remember.
No, they were Middle Eastern.
Yeah, something more specific, but anyway.
They're Iranian.
Yeah, I think they were.
Yeah, they're Iranian. Planet of the Apes. You forget that he actually technically travels into the future.
Yeah.
Into an alternate.
I've
Earth.
never been a big Planet of the Apes guy.
I like the new ones. Like the last sequel was really good. The War of the Planet of the Apes.
So I mean, if you got to go between this time travel movie with Rachel McAdams called About Time, or this time travel movie with Rachel McAdams called A Time Traveler's Wife, which do you feel is more accurate?
That one's tough, John. I don't know.
She made two romantic time travel movies.
Weird. That is weird.
It's funny to me.
Just been pigeonholed in a weird role.
Oh, man.
You know, this next one's actually, I like the way this one, and it still holds up. It's still funny. Hot Tub Time Machine deals with time.
That's probably the most accurate.
Right. They go back to 1986 for friends. You ever watch Star Trek: The Voyage Home? Yeah.
No. What year was that?
Like 86.
No.
So that deals with time travel. Safety Not Guaranteed.
It's funny.
Small film.
On my honorable mentions list, and I didn't mention it last week.
Oh, you liked it?
I like it's the Duplass one, right?
Yeah, Mark Duplass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, it's a fun, ridiculous movie.
Yeah. It deals with time travel. One of the Harry Potter movies, The Prisoner of Azkaban, deals with time travel.
I've only seen like one. The lake house was probably the most accurate.
12 Monkeys from the 90s.
I like that one a
Remember
lot.
that one?
Yeah,
where
Bruce
Bruce
Willis.
Willis. He's
Yeah.
from the future and goes back to the past to cause the you know, I haven't seen it in a while. He like the future's all like fucked up, and he goes back in time. Like they think they know what caused. Like it was like a virus, right? That killed off humanity or killed off most humans, and made the surface of the Earth unlivable.
Right.
I think if I'm remembering correctly.
Yeah, it's like a kind of a doomsday thing.
Yeah.
Can we talk more about the lake house? It's literally about
like a time traveling mailbox, right?
yeah, it's about a mailbox where they communicate with each other, like a magic mailbox where they just write love letters to each other. And it's who is it? It's Sandra Bullock.
It's Keanu Reeves and Sandra Bullock.
And Keanu Reeves.
Yeah.
They can only pass their love messages through a time traveling mailbox.
Yeah.
It's like a portal.
Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah. 36% on Rotten Tomatoes, but I don't care. 2 thumbs up.
Edge of Tomorrow
Love it.
technically deals with some time travel, Groundhog Day.
It's a lot of Groundhog Day.
Yeah, elements. Remember Looper?
Love Looper.
Looper deals with time travel in a pretty cool way. Assassins.
It's a twisted movie. It's a
Yeah.
little out there.
You know, another movie that's probably one of the best movies of this decade for me. Arrival.
I was gonna say Arrivals.
Yeah, deals with being able to see in the future and these aliens and the way they their language is.
And I think I mentioned I originally had it on my top 10. I had to move it.
Mm-hmm.
Same, like I love it.
Yeah. The Time Traveler's Wife, which you mentioned, it's on this list.
Oh man.
You know what? She's technically been in 4 movies about time travel. If you count Doctor Strange and Midnight in Paris.
I never saw Midnight in Paris.
Yeah, she deals with she loves doing time travel movies.
It's funny. Mean Girls.
Yeah.
I think that was.
Source Code with Jake Gyllenhaal. Sort of like another Groundhog Day type movie.
He's got like what does he have, a minute? Or
Yeah,
to change everything?
To change everything.
That's actually a good movie.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a good movie. I haven't seen it. X-Men Days of Future Past. They send Hugh Jackman's character back into time. You mentioned it briefly earlier. Predestination with Ethan Hawke.
It's weird because it takes a turn where you're just like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
In the last few minutes. I think you should check it out if you haven't.
Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure.
Okay, now that's the most accurate.
They actually do deal with time travel.
It's funny now. It's like, how many Keanu Reeves movies? Is it Lake House?
Yeah, you fall into a niche, right, as an actor.
Yeah.
Remember this movie? It's from the 2000s. Primer.
Yeah.
That was a nice, cool, like low key time travel movie where it actually does deal with like the physics involved behind it. And
you remember I told you for like a week I was just watching time travel movies.
Were you?
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
That's when I caught, because I didn't see Primer until a couple of years ago.
Oh really?
Yeah.
I think I saw it when it came out for some reason.
I saw it very like 3 years ago maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that was pretty good, and it actually does deal with time travel. And those characters understand the physics behind the potential of time travel way better than we do. And the writer director of that movie was, it's a pretty smart guy. So
yeah, because it is. I was a little confused for a second.
Yeah.
Even the butterfly effect. There's something about it. It's probably a darker version of like about time.
Yeah. Yeah.
It does get things twisted, and it's about. It's not. They're not doing anything for like some great world purpose, like Terminator, like trying to save a thing.
Yeah.
It's like it's about like a girl or something.
Yeah.
It's like about just something that's important to them.
Yeah. Which it's funny going back to before we end the podcast. We speak to why people are so obsessed with time travel. And it's like it is a little bit of the selfish things. Like what if you can go back and redo something that you regret or something that you wish you had done differently? I think that is the pull for why people are so fascinated with time travel.
Yeah.
The fact
No,
that,
I mean,
the fact that something's permanent and you
I'd
can't
like to
change it.
hear somebody with knowledge but we don't really have any
Right.
that actually believes he can go to the past. I'd be curious.
Be tough.
Even just theoretically, I'd just
Yeah.
like to hear it.
Yeah.
I probably wouldn't understand it.
Yeah. 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 But, well, that's it. That's our time travel podcast.
With a picture of the time traveling celebrities, right? Those are fun to look at sometimes. Like,
So do you believe John Titor was a time traveler, John?
John Titor?
John Titor.
No, not based on what I heard today. No.
Mm-hmm.
You?
So I didn't convince you that John Titor.
I think it's more likely John Totoro.
John Titor was a
Yeah.
travel then.
Yeah. No, I not based on some internet blogs that were very inaccurate.
Yeah. I don't know, John. I mean, maybe that was his whole point. It was to change this terrible future, and he did it. He was successful, and he succeeded in his mission, and he went back to his new, better future.
Did you ever see the one real quick? I can't find it. Where? Oh, you know what's a good one? It's kind of time traveling that we forgot that I made you watch.
What?
Coherence was a little bit weird.
Oh yeah, that was cool.
It's a cool low budget movie.
Yeah, yeah,
A little bit. Yeah, I don't want to ruin it. That's a fun one to watch.
yeah.
Um,
It was dark.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, yeah. It was a dark.
Yeah. The other one that I can't find it. Maybe you saw it or I pointed it out was, and it's funny to me because it's a little bit. Not only is it far fetched, they get there's a camera. They get a photo of 24 hours in advance and what their living room looks like.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And they somehow, they're able to just capture like the photo 24 hours in advance, and somehow they use it. What I don't get is like the guy's like in trouble with like bookies and stuff because he's using it to make money, and I'm like, dude, like, why don't you like bet with like real sports books instead of this hardcore bookie? This is gonna kick your ass because you keep winning. Yeah.
Yeah. It didn't make sense. Yeah.
But it was still a funny movie to me where I was like, okay, I'll go with it.
All right. So, any last words before we go, John, on time travel?
No, I'm good. Gotta get back to 1955.
All right. With that, we leave you for another week. We will see you in the future next week. Bye-bye.